into our busy week, and it's Marilyn again. And I blame her for all the uprisings in Britannia. Yeah, that's the French coming out there because they're partially responsible, of course. Or are they the sensible ones?
Well, do we need the French? I mean, Macron does what he wants, doesn't he, really? As is proved with the boats. I mean, I've done so many interviews this week. I can't remember whether I was saying to you, if Patrick Christie's can find out who three of these
Exactly.
traffickers are, where are the French? It's on their territory. Why can't they use their security forces? Because they don't want to.
Yeah.
And so it goes on. Then we got the doctor's strike. And every time there's just something every single day, and not just one thing, there's just loads of
It's
stuff.
a
It's just
snowball
dreadful.
effect. Let's be dynamic about all this because there are various reasons, but one mainly the shambles that we've got for a government, and it is a shambles.
It is.
We've had 14 years of shambles, and if the Labour Party can only bleat the same complaint 14 years before they got elected, and they're still saying 14 years. Hang on, you've had 12 months now. You've made the problem worse. But
But you mustn't forget about the dark hole.
well, the black hole, yes, same thing. It's dark.
Why don't they bury themselves in it? There's a
Oh
situation.
no, never thought of that. Yes, I did, but yeah, not for publication, as they say. But look, let's look at the quality of the Labour MPs and some Conservative and some Liberal and everything else.
And now we have a new party.
We do indeed. We'll come into that shortly because that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Having said that, we have a situation which we're going to briefly discuss, and it's a thread throughout the whole broadcast. We'll keep going back to it. The quality of the MPs is appalling.
Shocking.
Look at who's there, their qualifications, their experience more than qualifications. And
Mm.
if you look that Angela Rayner, for instance,
Don't get me
of
started.
course, it's the famous phrase that she left school with more children than GCSEs. I mean, she is second in charge, apparently, or not in charge. Although some people say, oh, that's a good idea, Angela, better than Sir Keir's ideas. But no, if that's the quality, is it any surprise we are
Well,
in the
exactly.
great black hole that we're in?
I mean, the way she dresses, she looks like she's just stepped off a market stall. I mean, just dreadful. And tattoos up her legs. I mean, it just is not a professional look, is it?
No.
It's just awful. I just cannot stand the woman. Well, I don't like any of them. I just think I don't know why there hasn't been a vote of no confidence in Keir Starmer. Well, of course, they're not allowed to, are they? No one's allowed to go against him or they lose the whip. So he's complete control freak, and all they're interested in, they're jumping ship to go with reform or whatever, and they're jumping ship from the Tories to go to reform because they're desperate to have a seat and their job, but they're just career politicians. I mean, the sad passing of Norman Tebbit, and he was a proper politician. He was a proper politician, and he had a good sense of humour, whereas that stupid woman, what's her name, something. Sultana, and she was bleating because she found herself in about a sun, what was it called, on sun-kissed raisin packet, and she really raised Cain about it. Well, goodness me, where's your sense of humor? It's ridiculous. And when you think, you go back to what was that puppet show where they had Margaret Thatcher
Yes,
and
yes, yes, yes.
yeah, and Norman Tebbit done up as a biker. I mean, you've got to laugh at yourself, for goodness sake. And I mean, and now whatever this thing is going to be with Jeremy Corbyn, he's going to be hard left. I do wish people would stop saying hard left, hard right, or whatever, because it's the same thing with this Epping thing about far right, far left. No, people came out because they are genuinely concerned about their children in that area, as society has the right to do. Yes, overridden by the thugs who will jump on any bandwagon to have a good punch up. And, to say that people put them in, people did, I don't agree with that. There's always rednecks that will jump on any, as you see it when there's protests in London, the people come up in nowhere and they just want to raise cane because they want to do it, not because of the cause. With Epping yesterday and all that's been going on, where has been the MP? Where has anyone like Yvette Cooper, anyone like that? Nowhere to be seen.
They don't go. Their advisors say, "Oh, you can't do that yet." They're probably right. They get lynched. Well, not literally, but close on. The fear, the anger, the disquiet of the general public is palpable.
It is.
It will go on, and if it doesn't spread, it will be a miracle.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
areas. Look, we all know, or perhaps we don't, but certainly this week snuck out a diktat from many councils saying, "We are not going to tell you where the next hotel is, even
And
though
you don't think
on
people are going
our
to
path."
find out?
Well, why, you say? Well, the people ask, why? Oh, because it will, guess what? Infringe their human rights for privacy.
One moment. What about our human rights?
Yes.
No one mentions them. The human rights, how we feel about our country, I'm sorry to say, being invaded by people that are of no use to us whatsoever. They just want to come and sponge off us and give nothing back at all. And I know I had a conversation with Richie Allen last night on his show, and you know, he bravely said, I don't blame these people for doing it because it's so difficult to get into this country. Well, I know if you want to come in through the proper route, you often have to be sponsored by somebody. So what's wrong with that? You have to do that for Australia. I mean, but come over here and have a £50 gift card that you use in a gambling shop. Yeah, and then our Uber, or you call them Just Eat drivers and all these fast food police people, you know what I mean? And I mean, I'd like to go and stay in a four-bedroom Britannia hotel at the weekend, please. Thank you very much. I mean, that sort of thing winds people up. That you don't, even if they don't understand the meritocracies of actually getting here on the legal channel, the very fact that you're seeing people who have not got homes. There was a young mum the other day with four children. She doesn't have a home. Why isn't she being put up in the Britannia Hotel? Why isn't she being put up somewhere nice rather than some squat? I mean,
Well, apparently, it's just been announced again that if you are a poor, innocent criminal, illegal immigrant, you can also get money for your school uniform, whereas the persons that really could do with it, the poor people, cannot get any help like this. And it goes on and on.
but they shouldn't be here. Send them back. They shouldn't be here. The guy that assaulted that 14-year-old girl in Epping, and I'm not surprised people rised up about that. Even if these people are in the minority doing this sort of crime, it is still one too many. And why hasn't he been taken out of that hostel where he's been and shipped right back to where he came from? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
There's no political will to do anything about
No,
it.
there isn't.
There
And
hasn't
there
been
is,
for years.
there is another, I can't remember the name of the country, you might know it better than me, where this illegal migration is taking place, they are waiving ECHR. They're not sticking with
It
it.
is possible. It depends on the lawyer that's in charge.
Exactly.
And we know who's in charge in Great Britain. And he doesn't want anything like this.
Oh,
And it's not only Keir Starmer, it's his mate,
yes.
Lord
Yes.
Hermer.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there's where the problem lies. And the same with Tony Blair's government.
Mhm.
Because it's not just the ECHR, it's the Human Rights Act in 2008 that Blair brought in.
Yes.
It was a catastrophe. So it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Wow, no wonder we're in a state. Now, how do other countries do it? Well, they get round the law. And as I repeat, it is possible. It is possible to open centres, welcome everybody in, and immediately get 100 civil servants to interview 8 people a day and say, go or stay. It is that simple. And send them back. And they won't do it because, I repeat again, there's no political will.
No.
What's behind it all? We keep saying the same thing. It's called Marxism. I don't give it the title of socialism because socialism, not my cup of tea, but can be respected. They've got good arguments on their side as the right-wing Conservative has. Let's have a debate. Fine, that's how we've been gone for years. But I mean, now we've got a situation whereby we're infiltrated by so many creatures of the night. Now, let's name one, Antifa. When you see a demonstration, you see this horrible organization stirring it up, hoodies on, the whole lot of it. Now, that can be stopped immediately by
Absolutely.
But instead of doing that, a la Epping, they actually bust them in and bust them back. What a limp excuse the chief
Absolutely.
made for that.
Yeah. Absolutely, but I think it is a form of social engineering. That's why no one's doing anything about it. I really do think it's as sinister or even as open as that, because if you didn't want it, you would deal with it. And as you say, it's not difficult to deal with. So they clearly don't want to. There's obviously a transparent resistance to do something. But people are, which is what I was saying to Richie Allen last night, there is a a righteous, if you like, revolt going on, if you like. If you only need a few more. It doesn't, as I say, it doesn't matter whether it's not that many that are doing sexual assaults. The fact that they're doing it at all means they should go. And I said to him last night, I said, right, okay, why don't we, like, as I said to you, is look at every single person in the prisons. Who is in the prisons? Kick out someone like Lucy Connolly, who shouldn't be in there anyway. They kick out the people that haven't paid their taxes. Get rid of those people, and the 20% of people that are in the prisons that shouldn't be here and they should have been deported. You'd have plenty of spaces.
Yes, right. You mentioned Corbyn just a few of an eyelid before, and he's got a list. It's come out what he wants to do. Number one, I was surprised when I got this list, and I even thought, I'll vote for the guy. Let me tell you what number one is. He says he wants to remove the establishment, the religious establishment that wants to fix our society. Yeah, I agree with him. He wants to get rid of it. I thought, oh, is the hope? Is this our savior? I thought, Then I looked at the other 9 points. Let me give you them. Number two, I'll not give you them all. He wants to tax the rich. Oh, great. Haven't we lost enough of them in the last 2 years?
The point.
Right. They were frightened. They went before our friend Sir Keir got into power.
Yeah.
They knew what was happening, and lo and behold, it was even worse than they feared. The next thing, he wants to redistribute wealth straight out of the Marxist
Yes.
Book of Common Prayer. He wants to redistribute. So, in other words, the feckless, the lazy, sofa layabouts are going to get a lot more. I hope they appreciate it. And he wants to redistribute power. Now, I don't know really what he means by that.
No.
I'm afraid I can conjecture a situation whereby, oh, I don't like you, you're in power, we'll get rid. Yeah, I know that if that isn't communism, I don't know what is. He wants to make sure the NHS thrives, don't we all? Well, I don't, because it's a faulty model, but here we are. And he wants to deprivatize everything to do with the NHS. He wants also to deprivatize water, gas, rail, and mail. Well, that's all right, but hang on, Jeremy, have you thought how much this is going to cost? I mean, you're talking mega billions.
Absolutely.
Not just 10 or 15. I mean, this is the trouble with them. They never think things through. He wants to build more council houses. Well, there we are. Margaret got rid of them, didn't she?
Yeah.
She was loved by especially the left. Even persuade them to forgive her about the miners' strike in various areas. But there you go. He wants to stand up to these fossil fuel evil giants. In other words, he wants to go mad on the green issue as well. Now, the danger here, of course, is the 16-year-olds will vote for that.
Oh, that's exactly yeah, exactly. That's exactly what was listening to last night. And they were saying that because 16-year-olds love a bit of something that's very radical and rebellious sort of thing. Yeah. And I think Keir Starmer should be very frightened that he'll grab all those votes. I really do think that. But he's got 80,000 members already, hasn't he? It said.
Yeah, no, stats and
But he
yeah.
doesn't know what he's going to call the party yet, does he? It's going to be like your party. Well, that's not going to catch on, is it? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to call
Oh,
it.
call it Sultana or something. And let's go on to the RMT union. They're clashing with Labour because Labour, of course, have said, oh, pensions are a real problem, which they are. We've got to increase the age, even though we can't think about it for 3 years under the law. They make laws to suit themselves when it suits.
Of course they do.
Obey the law.
And they don't even discuss it
No,
they don't even
no,
discuss it or debate it in the House of Commons.
Well, it's 66, of course, at the moment. It'll be 67 in the next couple of years. By 2044, it'll be 68. I think that's optimistic. I think it'll be higher. It's difficult, this, because if you think the average, lifespan is now quite considerably higher,
Mm,
we can't keep funding.
no,
You've got to work a bit longer because
no,
you
that's
have
true. I mean,
enough to work.
yeah, I mean, I think 70 is the new 60, isn't it? You know what I mean? People, I look at my mum, when she was 60, and all the women then, it was because post-war and stuff like that, they all had their hair set every week. They all wore the same sort of shoes. They yeah, so shampoo and set, and they all looked the same. And the swagger duster coats, as they called it, they all worked from home. And you were absolutely condemned if you went and got a Saturday job or whatever. And society has changed so much, so much, and it's extraordinary when you look back and you think, oh, you go back and you think, crikey, that was 50 years ago.
Yes.
It's amazing when you look back and see how things have so changed and radically so. It's incredible.
Yeah, you wouldn't have believed it even 10 years ago.
No,
If they
absolutely,
said what's happening today, you said
absolutely,
no, that could
absolutely.
never happen in Britain or anywhere else for that matter.
I remember when Princess died. Um, I mean, people didn't even know how to send emails. Oh, what's an email? What's an email? I mean, how old would she? What would she have been? Well, what would that be? 20 odd years ago? Yeah, I mean, that's that in what has happened with technology in that time. You think, goodness me, that's like light years ago. Incredible, absolutely amazing.
I mentioned a few seconds ago about the RMT union in a clash with Sir Keir. The RMT union, of course, and they that are paying their train drivers more than airline pilots are kicking off because they are going to die younger because they're in a physical job. Yeah, I see the physical job. Between stations, they probably try and stay awake for 10 seconds while they need it. Else is automatic. So I can see them getting a coronary for sitting down all day doing very little. So he's probably right when he says they're not going to live as long as the ordinary guy. But I mean, it's an absolute nonsense. And it's the same with everything. The present Labour government gave way to all the people that wanted money on his side of the house. And now the doctors are coming back to bite back, as they always will.
Yeah, and then what about the nurses?
Yep.
And the admin people that work there, and so it goes on. What about them? We go, oh, well, what about it? The teachers then? If we're looking at vocational jobs, what about them? And so it goes on, and just striking and wanting more and more money isn't the answer. But you say if you're going to tax the rich, and we've lost a whole load of multi-billionaires that have moved away from the country, that's where it's not worth it them staying. I mean, it's an absolute nightmare where it's all going to end up. It really is, isn't it?
Well, we know what the doctors are paid in Spain and Portugal and France. And believe you me, already the junior doctors, I refuse to call them another name change like they've put on now. They're still junior doctors. They're paid a lot more than they are in Spain,
Mm,
because there's add-ons that they never quote. Oh, I'm
mm,
only earning £18 an hour. I want £23 an hour.
mm.
Really, that's more than twice the living wage that everybody else, not everybody, but a lot of people seem to get by on. You've got a fantastic pension coming along. You've got lots of bonuses and easy money that comes along, and you're in many practices GP, only you can work 3 days a week, open your own Botox clinic for the other two. You will make a fortune. It is not true what they're saying, and they're killing people.
Well, yes, absolutely. And you would think that would that would make me feel desperately uncomfortable. I really I would be mortified if I thought something like that meant a young mother, a young dad, young teenager, whatever, baby, couldn't get the doctors because I was on strike, and then because that wasn't nipped in the bud, that child or whoever has gone on and become terminally ill. I mean, I would find that really difficult. I
Yeah.
couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it.
Well, you've got a problem. You personally, I mean.
Me? Oh,
Yes, you've got something called a conscience.
oh well, yes. Yeah, and it has to do with that, doesn't it? It is about a moral and ethical conscience. It is, moral compass, and that's what I was saying about the people coming into the country here. I mean, they don't. Some of them come from countries where there is no moral compass, and women are just trash, and that's what they see when they come here. I know people, and I was saying last night, I know families in Kent that have lived here all their life, born here, worked here, pay their taxes, everything. And when it came to starting schools, their children starting schools in Kent last year, those places have been taken up by the children of some of the migrants, and their children, the English children, have got to go and travel 20 miles to get to a next school, changing 3 buses. That is outrageous. And all these little things that are going on are literally, they really are influencing people. And I think the British people is tolerant to a point and compassionate to a point. But when it really does touch their lives, and again, I quoted it again last night, that, Enoch Powell was not racist. Enoch Powell was a prophet, actually, in his time, a visionary. And if you read that speech properly, you can see it was general concern. It wasn't racism. And now here we are with everything that he predicted.
Indeed.
It's there, it's happened, and I don't know how you can turn it back. I really don't. I mean, unless they're going to do something radical, because I do think people during the summer and all that, I mean, he's already reckoning, isn't he? This is going to be the summer of unrest. If people have seen one place do it in Epping and come out and rightly said, we don't want these people in our town, then other people are going to do the same. It's bound to, it's like
If they're
measles.
told by the local authority,
Yeah, it's like measles. And that's the other thing about the doctor's strike. I mean, you've got measles outbreaks. I mean, that's such a dangerous illness. And it's just, I just think it's so irresponsible. So irresponsible.
well, you listen, let's talk about our police. And it's not about an individual plod that I'm saying here, because we have members of the family who are plods, and they're great, and they're very caring and looking after situations that you think, what are the police doing that for? It should be social services. And it's true.
Hmm.
But they have to step in and brush the bits up, as it were. So don't be, we're fans. Mr. Plod, Senior, we are fans. And that's why we come against basically the training school situation, which is just like our universities, full of diversity, equality, and inclusivity. And out of those laws, precepts, let's more accurately call them, you get the problems that we're in at the moment, and you get consensual policing on steroids. It truly is awful. I mean, what the police forces around the world think of the peelers, and he got it right originally. I just don't. Well, I know we have even members of the family in the police in Spain, so we know both sides. They wouldn't put up with all this nonsense at all. They'd be in there sorting it out, not cruelly, but justly. And it never gets to court because the local police sort things out. and their presence is on every street corner. Now,
Well, that is
what,
the
Rick?
trouble, isn't it? We don't have a police presence anymore. That's the other thing when you go back to when I was a teenager. You would regularly see the little panda cars going around, the little minis and all of that. You'd see, and people do, I think, even yobs, they see a police car because nobody actually wants to ever get caught, do they? So they do start adjusting their behavior. But did you see yesterday? Oh my word, why doesn't somebody fly Sadiq Khan to the moon on a one-way ticket? Did you see he went off to the 500,000 from his council, which could easily have gone to the Met Police, yeah, or Westminster, whatever. The opening of something to do with slavery that looked like a rotting turnip. Have you seen it?
I
It's hideous. It's absolutely hideous. And there he was proudly. I mean, I just don't know how he gets away with it. I mean, there's a money shortage, and we got this eyesore that it's not going to be long before somebody, from Just Oil, whatever it's called, is going to throw something over it. It's hideous. I mean, if
yes,
anyone hasn't seen it, take a look at it. But I mean, he's so proud that he's like funded this thing. Well, he shouldn't be.
police are individuals. There's good uns and there's bad uns. I tell you what's been going on for years, although it's just hit the news headlines, of course. Greater Manchester Police, when they get certain, especially young ladies in for questioning, they say, "Oh, we'll have a strip search."
Terrible.
Now, without the usual safeguards, and they're getting off on this, aren't they?
Of course
That's
they
why
are.
they do
Of,
it.
of course they are. It's dreadful because you shouldn't do anything like that without the person has got a safe person, it's called. My friend used to do that. She used to get called in to custody when somebody had to be searched, and she was a safe person that was there. But I mean, it really is, again, transparently obvious what's going on. It's awful. Traumatizing kids like that is awful.
Um, Things are bad in Britain, they're bad in Spain for the same reasons, actually. But you have certain departments, and in this case, the DGT, Director General de Tráfico, in other words, a big bod that decides what new laws comes out and keeps you safe on the road. Yes, I mean, come on. And they've got so many laws, even the police have given up trying to enforce them. The latest thing is, and again, it's down to individual towns to make this work. It's parking. How do we get some money off the poor motorists? Just the same all over Europe, especially Britain, but now it's come to Spain. So they normally, if it's a parking zone, there's a colour they put on the floor, but each town can have their own colour. And some of the garish colours are coming out. But every town has got different laws. So if you're going from one town to another, you try and read well, you can't print all the stuff where you can park, when you can park, what are days off, are you delivering, all sorts of things here. You are bound to get fined, especially if you don't understand the lingo. There's not a hope for you. And they're around there and because all they're interested in is the dosh, of course.
Yeah. Well, they used to in Portugal, they had these like three different, they had the police that would, in the last day of every month, they'd be on every roundabout and they would pull over vans and things like that to make sure that they didn't have farming fuel in in their cars. And then you had the speeding ones, then you had the criminal ones, but they were quite scary. If you had anything to do with them, they were perfectly pleasant, except the ones on the road, on the bikes and all of that, they wanted cash straight away and for that fine. And if you didn't have it, they would escort you to an ATM. You gave it to them, and you think, well, I wonder how much of that goes in their pockets.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's the same in Spain. They've gone one worse now, and they've not content with a double white line in the middle of the road to stop you overtaking, because it doesn't. The Spanish are great for breaking the law, or I'm going to be in trouble of that nature. And they now have got a brilliant red line, just one in the middle of the road. And if you dare, you could be behind a cyclist and having to wait while they're
Yes.
slow moving cyclists. because they've got all the laws on their side, despite them paying nothing to any treasury. And you have to leave 1 meter, 2 meters, depends on the speed of the town, 3 meters. Well, you're over the other side of the road. I mean, it's a nonsense, but this is full of nonsense, bureaucratic nonsense.
I was just going to say, it's bureaucratic nonsense,
Of course
isn't
it is.
it?
It's not the real
Absolutely,
world.
absolutely.
And it's 200 quid fine immediately on the spot. Well, yeah. There are other things that do drive you round the bend here, but there are reasons. And that's the dreaded hump. Gives you the hump because you've got humps in Britain, bumps in the road,
Oh yeah,
sleep.
yeah, yeah.
We call them in Britain. Here they're just called a pain in the neck, and they're vicious.
They are vicious.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's like hitting the side of the Eiger. Uh, the
Some of
transmission
them, I mean,
problems.
they really would take your car out if you don't know. Some of them,
Yeah,
there was
yeah,
a village near us that
that's right.
it really you wouldn't go over that bump more than 5 miles an hour without wrecking your car. Yeah, I mean, but if it's traffic calming, why not?
The problem with Spain is that, especially with the young and certain young ladies as well, they've got a reputation. They just drive mad.
Oh yeah,
Can
well,
see
same
why
here.
they've got to be slowed down. So the rest, the innocent, are paying for the lunatics who are
On
guilty.
police duty last night on the speed watch. So, I mean, I've told you before, this tiny little village, and our roads around it are so bendy, 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 and they are lanes. You can't even call them a road. And it's all crumbling away on the outside. And of course, all these people with their electric cars, they are half a ton heavier. And they're wide, they're bulky cars, aren't they? So half the time you cannot get two cars passing each other. It's
Marilyn, can we
awful.
simplify this conversation and just say there are too many people in Britain? I mean,
Yes.
it's a joy to drive here still in Spain.
Oh, I think in Portugal it's the same. You've got some wonderful fast motorways up and down and all of that. But you see, it's so old here. I don't. Do they like in Spain have park and ride situations like in Barcelona? Are you allowed to drive around, or do you have to park somewhere and a bus takes you in?
Well, they're concentrating actually mainly on pollution. You've got to, when you buy a new car, get a definition of where you can drive. A lot of the cities in Spain say unless it's a hybrid or electrical car, you
Mm,
can't get in. And that's why people buy hybrid cars. It's a little bit more expensive rather than going fully electric, which is still a nonsense, especially in Spain,
mm,
because
yeah.
they've got the charging points for a million miles. It's bad in Britain, but it really is bad in Spain. So lots of people get round the law, but we shouldn't have to get round the law. All this pollution is nonsense. We keep mentioning the blue fuel, which came along and saved many lives, and that's an additive that transforms your diesel engine, especially a big lorry, into cleaner emissions, very clean compared with a big smoky lorry that nobody enjoys. But no, it's all about money.
But while everybody else is trying to do stuff for global warming, India and China are still belching out rubbish out of their big chimneys, aren't they? They're carrying on regardless, burning coal and goodness knows what else. So if we only contribute little 1% to the problem, they must become, up to 70%.
Did you hear, by the way, there's a new international law about to be
No.
judgmental on Britain? We're one of the top 5 people that are going to be fined for our pollution and lack of green. Yeah, I stood back and said, what?
It's,
Well, this is it. You see, the fanatics get in there, come out with some figures that are not representative of anything. And
we contribute about 1%, don't we?
indeed,
But then you've got that's all very well and good, but then you look at Angela Rayner with her merry team that have burnt up how many millions of pounds worth of was it something like 50 million or 5 million was it on airfares whizzing around the world, Labour MPs. So they're not
one,
true to their own message, are they?
in a word, no. And look, we've mentioned a dear old bureaucracy on a number of occasions. There again, it's coming back to bite us. These people are recruited, they've got jobs for life, very good pensions for life, and in many cases are paid even more during their working lives than in industry.
Mm.
So they've got the golden whatever it is from beginning to end now. And we should expect them to get it right. And they don't because they've got no experience of how a business runs. And you can say that about many governments. It's naivety. They do the maths, they think, put it into a computer model. It comes out with absolute nonsense, but they still go ahead with it.
But
That's
you
why we're in the situation we are.
But you can see with some people like Jeremy Hunt. I mean, he has and is in business, isn't it? You can see by the way he was talking this morning about. You can tell when there is someone who has been or is in business, how they discuss about the financial situation of the country and all that. I mean, Rachel Reeves is oh God. I mean, I just
From accounts, don't forget that, Rachel from accounts.
I mean, it's frightening, but it is interesting though how that's what I think about. It's global social engineering. It is interesting though how everywhere around the world there is this problem. But having said everywhere, there are countries like Australia that sort it out. There's countries like I don't know, it's Denmark, is it? One of them that's not having any problems whatsoever. They're turned back and that's it.
Yes.
You just got to be absolutely uh, diligent and tough. I mean, I can't see, I know people didn't like Margaret Thatcher, but I can't see Margaret Thatcher would have put up with this.
Not for a second. I'll tell you who is very much in the Thatcher mode is Suella Braverman.
Yeah.
They should have got her in, not Mrs. Badenoch, because she has stated all the way through, number one, get rid of ECHR.
Yeah.
Badenoch's not done
Yeah.
because she's part of the blob in her own sweet way. She's trying to appease the left wing in her party.
Mm.
Keir Starmer is trying to appease the left wing in his party. You're not going to get anywhere by appeasement. It's divided the Conservative Party and Labour Party like you would not believe. And I can't certainly see them getting an overall majority, even though 4 years is a long way off. If it does indeed stretch that long, you cannot do anything, control anything by appeasement.
No, I mean, he's going to have a massive magic wand, isn't he, to recover from this? Because I mean, 4 years goes quite quickly, actually, doesn't it? I mean, it's just the damage that he may have created. I mean, if some of the stuff that he's doing does manage to, like the deal that he's done with India, I mean, that's supposed to be a very backslapping, well done me, isn't it, situation that's going to pay dividends, and he's trying to do all these deals. Be interesting to see how he gets on with the Donald today. He just seems to be all the time going around glad handing and backslapping all around the world, but not in his own country.
Exactly that. I'm going to give you some good news now. No, it's not, but it's overdue. And that out of America has come a mid-range business, not a small business, medium-sized business. And they were persuaded to get AI and artificial intelligence to sort out many of the problems. Means less staff, easier to run. So they did. They got the program of AI. It's supposed to be guaranteed. This sounds like 2001. I think the film was, wasn't it, with HAL, the computer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's happened to them. They have lost every bit of data their firm has built up over donkey's years. It's wiped it irretrievably. AI, and this is frightening. You think of this on a bigger scale.
Mm.
It's decimated the company. They literally are either going to go bankrupt or start from fresh if they've got, if they're able to, if they've got enough money. But what's happened is that it's just gobbled it up. Now it can't do that. You've got a safety. Yes, yes, you can, because AI, you can actually talk to AI. It's a bit scary, but you can. A lot of us do that now through posh Googles and other search engines. And they said to it, has this happened? And it just said, yes. Full stop. Worse still, when they talked to it even more, it did not show any remorse. Of course, it wouldn't be able to do that. It's not a physical person. But it did come out with some very cold answers. Eventually, it admitted to the fact that it had lied on several occasions. Honestly, it had lied about the state of the company, and it had actually hidden facts that it knew about that should have been published to the company again. So if it can hide things and if it can tell lies, I thought, oh, is it called Keir Starmer and not Hal? And I thought there's a definite analogy here. Well, come on. We've got to be very frightened about that.
But sometimes, though, I hear him speak, or I hear any of them speak from the Labour Party, and I think, are you are you breathing a different oxygen or something? Are we actually talking about the same country and the same situation? Because what you're saying, "Oh, we've done this, we've done that." No, you haven't. I mean, is somebody like withholding the impact of the decisions they're making? Because you think, well, that's not right, and that's not right, that's not right. So you're either a bunch of dimwits that you don't know really what you're doing, and you are believing in this mantra that Keir Starmer keeps, because you dare not actually you daren't go against him. But a number of things that come out, like about housing or anything, and you think, but that's not true. You've just said that, but we've just been told this on the news. It's so obvious. They're either a bunch of numpties or they're a bunch of liars.
Well, we believe everything if it's on the telly. Oh, it must be right. They can't get away with that.
Oh,
But I'm
God.
sorry, that's changed. Moving on quickly, the sex offenders registry. We've had that for a number of years.
The thing, I used to have it. I used to about that thick. I printed it all off because I would go to different schools and places, and people would say, "Oh, what's the?" I remember one man particularly who was a teacher at a school. I couldn't believe what he said. It came out 2007, and I had the whole document with me. And in the middle of the training program, oh, excuse me, he said, "Can you tell me what you would get now if you sort of touched a girl's breasts through clothing?" I went, "Oh." I said, "Probably 2 years. Can I carry on, please?" So carried on, and we weren't even talking about this at all. It was other stuff we were talking about. And then up goes his hand again and said, "Oh, could you tell me if it was skin on skin? Um, you're probably going to get 5 years. And you can download this document, sir, if you're that, you want to sort of like forensically go through it." And then towards the end, he put his hand up again and he said, "What would you get for penetration?" And by the time he just turned around, he'd gone. And he was a teacher. And some of the governors were there. I said, "You've got a problem, mate." I mean, and but that it is available. People can read it. But the trouble is, the judges don't always stick to it, do they? That's the problem.
Ah, well, how
Because,
do we alter the situation there? I mean, we keep going back to judges and lawyers again, don't we?
well, they just don't. I don't know how they get round what is in that document that you should get this for that. And then you think, well, hang on a minute, they've just walked out with a suspended sentence. How can they bend the rules? I don't understand it. I don't. And then, of course,
Well,
there's
are these people individually named that are on that register so that
the
people are
sex
aware?
offender register. Yes, they are. They are named. They are named, and you can phone up the police and ask. Someone has moved to my area. I've got young children. Can you let me know if he's a sex offender? Can you let me know if somebody got a new boyfriend? Is his name on the register to do with domestic abuse? The names are there. You can ask the police if you are an interested party for good reason. You can ask them. This guy's just moved in opposite the school. Is he okay? And the police will check it out. I can't remember what the one is called. There's Sarah's Law from Sarah Payne, knowing who's in your area. And there's another one. There's one about domestic abuse, and I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what it's called, but there is one about you can phone up to see if this person was violent in other relationships. You can do that.
But if the public don't know what they can find out, they're not going to press the button, are they?
Well, I say it's common knowledge. You can phone the police and ask. You can't like go online and go diddle diddle diddle. You can't do that, but you can phone the police and they should be telling you
Right.
if the person is okay or not.
It's a bit clinical, isn't it? Oh, should I go out with him? Let's do a
Well, that of course is the other thing. I mean, I think men are generally sort of quite frightened, but then there's nothing to be frightened about if you're innocent, is there?
true. So I've got something even more hidden, and that's the cost of eating out in Southern Europe and the cost of eating out in Britain.
God,
Uh,
astronomical.
it's astonishing. It is
Mm.
3 times more expensive to eat out in Britain than it is in Southern Europe. Now, there are various reasons. One is that you're not taxed. As an example, Spain taxes the business owner 10%. In Britain, it's twice as much as that.
Uh,
The cost of, again, because of tax, wines and spirits is enormous compared with what it is in Southern Europe. All these are factors. The wages are lower
mm.
than they are in Britain. Add all that together with the cost of food, which is blooming expensive
Oh,
in.
it's going up. You definitely can see it every week, and it's not just a penny. It could be, 20p, 25p. It's extortionate. I mean, and people, I mean, and also everywhere, my car insurance went up, but I argued with it, and it hasn't gone. I mean, it had gone up £20 a month, and I haven't even had a claim. And I said that I'm sorry, I'm going to have to look elsewhere. I'm not paying this. And that's the other thing. See, people will just accept it. They don't go back. The same, my dog, the pet insurance had gone up. And I said, hang on a minute. I've had her for 9 years. I've never claimed. Why am I? I'm not paying this. I should just have to go elsewhere. And all right, I got it reduced by £10 a month, but I got the car insurance reduced. So I'm now actually paying less than I was before they put the rate up. People don't think about challenging it because the moment you say you're going to leave or you have been looking around, they will start like they've definitely got wiggle room, but people don't bother complaining. I do, I complain all the time
Well, there
because
you
I'm not
go.
going to be ripped off.
Having said that, people are basically a bit lazy, and
Oh, a bit.
the
They're terribly
renewal,
lazy.
yeah,
They
the
are
renewal
dreadfully
comes through,
lazy.
and they just, oh, I can't be bothered.
Exactly right. Exactly. And I said, if everybody does that, then the insurance companies are having a laugh. And the reason they've got wiggle room with some of these premiums is because people don't bother. And along comes someone like me, and I make my case, and I get a discount because I'm not going to be ripped off like that. I'm not doing it. I'm not like it's not right. And I say, I've got on a pension and all of that. I can't. And the other thing, yes, I told you, I'm still waiting to hear back from the yeah, I'm still trying to hear back from my MP because I told you about the thing about mobility allowances, didn't I? We had that
Yes.
discussion. I'm waiting to hear back on that one, and I'm waiting to hear back on the one that I think I can't remember what I told you this one. The NHS who said to me, "Go and get Roger a private neurological diagnosis 3 years ago." We got it, and now his Parkinson's is so much worse. I can't get a Parkinson's nurse yet because the NHS neurology department won't accept the private diagnosis. So
Yeah,
I'm
well,
still waiting 11 months to see. I
similar.
just as well have waited in the first place.
No, they do it deliberately. They're out to save every dime they can, and
Yeah.
they again go for the soft touch innocent. I'm sure you're innocent, Marilyn, but you're not a soft touch. But most people are.
I'm not a sort of. Oh. I learned very well from my father's knee. I really did. My dad was always charming, but firm. Always knew anything. If you had to take anything back to a shop or anything, he said, you go in knowing what you want and you don't leave until you get it. I've done it so many times. And I've actually stood outside shops before. You don't want to go in there because if the heel comes off that shoe, they won't change it. And this is before there were the Sale of Goods Act and stuff like that. It was so funny. I used to love it. It was real. It was real entertainment going out with my dad while he made complaints. But people don't know how to complain. They go in and they rant, and they don't. they don't structure and construct a conversation that is going to get the person in a knot. And of course, they don't realize that there's always social media where you can completely trash somebody.
Yes, they're a bit frightened of social media, although there's been that many bad reports about, you get a plumber in, for instance, and he's a bad one.
No,
Yeah, you complain on social media, but does he care?
no, that's the point. I'm not sure they always do. It's the same with my friend of mine's had terrible trouble with painter and decorators because she's a woman living on her own. She's a widow, and it's all.
A prime target.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, I think this is going to cost a bit. I've got to do this. I've got to do that. Yeah. The garage do that as well, don't they? Mine don't, because I just said to them, go and take a hike. I think you need this done as well. I said, no, 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 I don't. No, I. And they said I needed something done because it might get worse. This is about 18 months ago now, and it's still perfectly okay.
Well,
And she breaks down.
with garages, women are very vulnerable. It's not their bag in many cases, and therefore the mechanic can say just about anything, even outrageously so.
People get fooled by the smile. My dad used to say to me the same thing. He said, "People get fooled by the smile, Marilyn," and it's the same thing. They think because you've got a big smile and they think you're a pussycat.
Yes. Meow.
Then you're suddenly bitten.
Well, you can do things nicely, can't you? But
You can do it nicely. You just got to be, you know, you just be sure of what you want. Do it politely. Do it quite loudly in the shop. Don't ever swear. Don't be offensive, but just be firm about this product you bought that isn't right.
talking about swearing, the NHS have got a new automatic message now on their websites, warning you that your aggressive nature will not be tolerated. But it's even worse now. It starts by saying, basically, you are a criminal if you dare upset any of my staff.
Oh, no, it says on our, I'm trying to think on our GP one, it says abuse to our staff will not be accepted, and you might have to be, dismissed from the surgery or something, and no longer be on our patient list.
There's a lot of discontent that is spreading
Oh
out.
yeah, 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 yeah. It hasn't stopped me because I have had 2 or 3 run-ins with the GP because the gatekeepers at the desk are just horrendous and they make terrible mistakes. I mean, we've terrible mistakes. They hadn't realised that Roger had already had stuff with the cardiologist, and then it's just. And I said, "Where's this letter come from? He had all this done a year. Well, it's on. It should be on his notes. What's the matter with you?" I think the trouble is when I was teaching and my job was music, I did not have the luxury of ever being late because I had an assembly to do every morning. I did not have the luxury of getting the paperwork wrong for a music exam because parents had paid for it and obviously paid for me to do that. I imagine if I'd set the wrong syllabus. I never had the luxury of making a cock up. And I'm not special. I just knew all my life and I work in a bank and stuff like that. I mean, fearsome Mr. Davies back then in the 70s. I mean, if you made a mistake, if the tills didn't balance, anything like that, you learnt that you have to do your job properly. And that's what doesn't happen anymore. People haven't got the pride in their job or the dedication in their job to want to do a good job. That's what irritates me.
Finally, we've got to go out on something that is very, very important and sometimes laughed about, but it's a real problem. When you're dealing with anybody, whether it be a private firm or the government, especially, you can't do anything without a computer, without an app, without knowledge.
I know.
And a lot of the grannies, and perhaps the
Oh,
majority, they've not a clue how to say, and it's too late now. You can't start retraining.
of course you can't. I'm at the moment, I've got 3 elderly people who I am helping because they don't take, as you rightly say, they don't take hard copy anymore. But they don't. One little old lady, she doesn't have a computer, and she's trying to get an attendance allowance. And so I'm having to do. There's about 3 elderly people now I know who I'm applying through my computer, and I'm having to say I'm doing this because this lady, and even if they have got one, they don't know what to do because some of these forms are 40 pages long.
They are. They're a
And
nightmare.
I would say to people as well, if you're listening and you are in Britain, that if you struggle to fill out these forms online, because I don't like doing it online, it takes me ages, it takes me twice as long. But if you do struggle, then the Age UK will help for free.
There you go.
They will do it for free. And, I don't need, I mean, I've just got these three ladies that they pay me in wine. So that's all.
Oh, yes. Back to the booze. We're going to go. Good tip there. And a good tip is that it can only get better, folks.
Yeah. And the other thing is, uh, I saw, Martin Lewis, the money man, right?
Yep.
Thing popped up on my phone the other day. There are a million people in this country that should be on pension credit. And pension credit would be £3,800 a year. Now, I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I didn't know that. And I looked it up, and Roger qualifies. And so I've asked for it to be backdated because I said, excuse me, I didn't even know about this, and I should have had this 2.5 years ago. So thank you very much. I have 10 grand, please. Because you can't, if you don't make it known that you can have it. So there's lots of people I'm now saying to, I seem to be getting sort of like more involved with some of the dementia side of things because by the time you get dementia and it's bad, the spouse is often in their 70s as well. And they don't know how to answer that. There is a way of answering the questions. If you want like the blue badge or something like that, there is a way of answering the questions. And uh there's a knack of doing it, but Age UK will help you fill it out. So there's no, I've got another elderly lady who's dyslexic. She said, I don't know where to start. I said, well, I don't mind helping you. I can do it, but or you ring the Age UK to do it for you.
One thing that is excellent about Spain, because of the hyper bureaucracy here, they've always had an animal called a gestor. He's the middleman that deals with you and the bureaucrats. He knows the way to answer questions, which
Yeah, there is a way.
and they're not particularly expensive. Go to a lawyer, he will offer the same services at probably 10 times the rate. I think me and you should open a company in the United Kingdom that does this. We'd be
Honestly,
absolutely
I am
inundated.
honestly thinking that you could be like an advocate for people. I really do think that.
Yeah.
Because when I started Freedom from Abuse, I started doing a lot of appeals for people when I'd seen cases in the newspapers, and I thought it was unduly lenient or it was overly, harsh. And I've still got it in my files. I've still got it where people, and some of the cases I did win and it did get through. There is a way, if you're good, I think you've got to be quite good at letter writing, haven't you? You've got to be quite good at, and some people have that skill. And, maybe I've stumbled on a job here.
Well, there you go. The key here is to get somebody off or out of the civil service
Oh,
within
yeah.
your organ because they know how it works. And get a mole if you
Mm,
can't do that and
mm,
see what
mm.
is really
But
going
they
on.
are they are very naughty though, because I also looked at because Roger has an attendance allowance. So with the attendance allowance, I looked it up on the government website and it was about after I sent it off and I thought, right, I am going to send it guaranteed next day delivery. It cost me £7, but then I had a little ticket that said I knew they were going to get it. So it comes through 2 or 3 months later at £400. I went, no, that's not right. That's not right. I said, you owe me 2 to 3 back pay. No, we don't. No, we don't. We got yes, you do. I said, here's a little receipt. And I said, it says, cut and pasted it off the government website. From the moment you receive it, the clock starts ticking. So you owe me £950. And without anything, yes, it went in the week later. See, people don't realize you've got to check. You have to check. You have to complain. You have to check because they are desperate that you don't actually claim at all. That's why there's no list of things that you could have.
Yes.
And the other thing to go to is your like carers in Bedfordshire or carers in Hertfordshire or carers wherever. They will tell you what benefits and what allowances you can claim for because it's not out there.
No,
It's really difficult to find out what you're entitled to. Meanwhile, the boat people come in.
yes. And every building, governmental building, should be surrounded by fields of wild grass and let it grow, to 2 or 3 feet, because that's where you're going to be kicked, everybody, by the bureaucrat. That's how they work. They don't
It's
want to know
true.
because it costs money.
Absolutely true.
All I can say is, what a merry state we're in. It's not only Britain.
No, no, no. That's what I say. It's social engineering. They don't want people. They want the old people to roll over and die. That's good. We got the, what was it? Assisted dying bill. No, that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's all
good.
right. Another pension I won't have to pay. That's excellent news.
And now they want to tax the pension. So that's right. Let's hit us again.
And on that note of cheer, we shall leave you and talk to you very shortly.
All right.
Mr.
Okie dokie.
Stewart.
Have a lovely weekend. Bye.